Hey Virgos, welcome and welcome back to the Honey Sea Star Tarot. So this is going to be your weekend read from October 11th through the 13th. And let me tell you, it's kind of exciting astrologically speaking. However, before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you for each and every one of you for all your love and support. You guys make the difference on this channel with all your comments, connecting with me and with each other. All the listens, the likes, the shares, subscribes, all the ways that you've supported the channel has truly made it what it is today and what makes it continue into the future. So thank you guys so much for your love and support. You lift me up just as much as I hope these messages lift you up. And so I cannot resist telling you and sharing with you how grateful I am for each and every one of you and how much I appreciate you. So that being said, like I was saying, this is a pretty exciting week astrologically. The reasoning why, weekend. But either way, the reasoning why is because on the 11th, Pluto's going to be moving direct. It's been retrograde for the last couple months. And I'm not sure if other people have studied Pluto or not, but basically it's going to be moving direct in Capricorn. And it's kind of the bully of all zodiacs, not to give it a negative connotation, but it's kind of that guy that comes in, and I kind of think of it as like the bull in the china closet. It's the planet that's all about truth. It's all about power. And it's been retrograde since May. So as it wakes up from this long sleep, it can have big effects personally, but also too, its effects are tied to significant world events and changes. It intensifies and transforms societal structures and also geopolitical events. And so it's kind of a really exciting transition, if you will. So to start things off with the tarot here this weekend, what messages do you have for us, Spirit, as we walk into Pluto moving direct? What messages do you have for us, Virgos? Oh my goodness. The cards are shy and wanting to flip, but also still hide. What messages do you have for us, Spirit, as we walk into this weekend, the 11th through the 13th? Oh, thank you. Okay, so right away, I can understand why the cards are feeling a little bit into the shadow side here of wanting to hop back in and be secretive. So some of us could be feeling, coming into this weekend, a little unbalanced, both rationality, questioning and trusting our thinking and our train of thought, but also too a little unbalanced with emotions. You could be feeling where you're reactive rather than responding. And so, I can relate with this big time because for my situation that I'm currently going through, I'm dealing with some living situation struggles. I want to be careful about how I word that since this is a public channel and I'm not into defaming characters. But either way, it's been very stressful. And it's put me into a position where I've been challenged by that here myself recently, where it's like, and the biggest thing that I keep telling myself when I'm meditating and when I'm absolutely practicing my pranayama, I swear, just breathing through it. But the biggest thing is during big decisions, putting yourself in, or when you get into a reactive rather than proactive or responsive deliberation and discernment towards big decisions, it tends to make you feel unbalanced. It tends to make you question your reality too, but rationality. It makes you question your emotions, or if you're responding to things or reacting to things emotionally, as opposed to responding to the situation with discernment. And so with Pluto, like I say, Pluto rules death. It rules transformation. It also rules crime and criminals. No pressure. But it mostly, represents a ruling of change, of power, of control, and those who not only wish to control you, but also choose to try and control others. So it's kind of this very strong energy. And that can make you kind of, like I say, especially if you're feeling pressured in those ways, especially if you're seeing, any type of immaturity or dealing with people that are rude or very emotional or have emotional responses. It's very much a tendency or a temptation rather to be reactive rather than responsive. And so those types of aspects will put you into a place where it'll test your emotional intelligence, take you away from your grounding and away from your centering so that you're more reactive, you're more impulsive. What Spirit is reminding us here is that truly, if you're feeling unbalanced, if you're feeling your rationality is questioned, you're questioning your emotions even too, Spirit is reassuring you that there is prosperity meant for you. The fruits of your labor, standing in that emotional intelligence, that will lead towards that personal satisfaction. And trust me, I just dealt with a situation here today where I was quite surprised by the emotional response that I got or reaction that I got from someone else in regards to a very very big move that would change locations kind of situation. And I was quite surprised that it went there so drastically and so fast or so quickly. But I will also say I patted myself on the back because there was a time where I wasn't as emotionally intelligent. My reaction would have been to meet her at, or him or her at that level. And I stayed calm. I kept to the facts. I stayed grounded in the facts and in the truth. And I stood by my balance of boundaries. And I tell you what, the conversation ended fine. It went smoothly. However, when I got done with the conversation, the biggest thing that I felt was because I had stayed grounded, because I stayed true to myself, because I stayed true to the facts and rational thinking of, okay, wait a minute, is she coming at me logically? Is she explaining herself rationally, or is she gaslighting me kind of thing? He or she, sorry. I actually was really grateful the moment that call ended with the fact that I stayed calm, I stayed rational, I stayed true to myself and to the situation, and I did not stoop to her level. I did not attack her personally, which she very much was. Unfortunately, she went there very quickly. And it was personal satisfaction. This is the weekend where you might feel the same effects. These are big effects also personally. You may also, like for me, it was a realization of like, thank you. Look how far I've come. I'm so glad that I devoted time and had mentors with emotional intelligence to handle difficult situations and crucial conversations in the way that I did, as well as develop discernment from with boundaries for lessons learned in the past. And I tell you what, it was a wonderful personal victory for me in seeing how far I had come, because there was a time that I was not, I would have responded or reacted just as much as she did, very emotionally. Especially in a big, like I say, locational move situations where those are big. There's a lot of anxiety with that. And that's Charlie's confirmation. Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate the support. But you may be challenged with that, or you may have come into that type of a challenge here, or be coming into that kind of a challenge as Pluto moves direct. And remember, this is about basically the bully of the zodiac. It's about truth. It's about power. And those who hold their grounding with emotional intelligence, also with compassion and with rationality, those are the people that truly hold the power. It's always the one who speaks loudest is the one who is also the weakest. There's a lot of power in silence. There's a lot of power in listening to people and listening just as much as responding, and responding appropriately rather than responding emotionally with, like I say, irrational thought, impulsiveness, also those types of negative aspects where, you're attacking other people or being rude with other people, intentionally trying to hurt them. And so this is a wonderful transformation because, again, Pluto rules death and transformation. And so if you guys resonate with that, if you're dealing with a difficult situation and you manage to not only stay grounded, stay within your emotional intelligence and stay centered within that truth and your truth and standing firm in your boundaries, and also realizing the situation rationally as opposed to reacting to it emotionally, put a heart in this, in the comments below. Share your story, share your victory, because this is a personal success that takes a lot of work. And I know culturally, at least in the United States, I don't know that we really truly value that. We're very quick to act to violence. And especially with Pluto, it brings out those types of negative energies within us, or it might tempt you to do so. I also want to say too, or just forewarn you, Pluto will also be within its orb of its opposition to Mars. I hope I said that right. Know what I meant, not what I said. But either way, it will build over the next several weeks. So this is something that if you haven't encountered yet, you may very well see it kind of come up, if you will. But I do want to forewarn you, the peak between the opposition of Mars and Pluto at this point, once it goes direct, will actually peak on November 3rd. So we're looking at a few weeks of this building. As it gets closer, or the closer it gets, the more volatile the energy will become. So just kind of, this is a point when Pluto goes direct where emotional intelligence truly will lead you to victory and personal success. And with the five of wands, swords, whatever, but with the Five of Swords, I don't know why I can't say that, but either way, in reverse, basically it means compromise. It means peace, cooperation, harmony. Not only agreements, but the end of conflict. And so Spirit is saying here as well, through your emotional intelligence, through responding rather than reacting to your situation, to your surroundings, to conflict in general, or difficult choices, this will bring peace and harmony. This will bring compromise. This will bring harmony and cooperation. And so, like I say, staying calm and centered is all about, that's the focus here between Mercury and Pluto, and especially as Mercury moves direct here. Now on the 12th, thank you, I do also want to point out that the Sun is in Libra and trine with the Moon, which is in Aquarius. And so this is all about a focus of happiness, about success, health, and well-being. And so you could be confronted with situations of really doing a bit of introspection on those pieces of your life. What's going to drive you to success? What is the path of success for you that's strategic and that's also practical and well thought out as a plan? Same thing with health. What can I do? What kind of vices am I looking at? Like for me, I'll be honest, being a little stressed, first thing I go to is sugar. I struggle with stress eating. It's a comfort thing and it's nothing good. I go for all the bad stuff. Like I'm just saying, my breakfast today, true confession, was lemon streusel cake. Don't judge me. But if you resonate, or judge me, but if you resonate, put a heart in the comments below. Just saying, it's a coping mechanism, right? So basically, what comes to with this trine is basically bringing those types of vices or acts that we do for coping mechanisms that aren't they make us feel better in the moment, but they're not necessarily better for our health or better for our long-term health and well-being. And really taking a look at those, really being challenged with them more importantly, but also challenging the power of them or the control that those coping mechanisms have over us as opposed to helping us. And with the Ace of Wands, I do want to assure you that remaining grounded, remaining emotionally intelligent, and standing firm within your truth and your boundaries in a very compassionate way, there absolutely is the start of something new. Not only in how you handle opportunities or things that have come up like this, but more importantly, it'll evoke change, because as you think about, you bring about, right? As you treat others this way, as you show others how you want to be treated and respected, you'll create this reciprocative, is that a word? Anyway, you'll create a reciprocity, you can judge me, and a change in your relationships. You'll bring in that energy, and more importantly, opportunities of good news, of new beginnings, of inspiration and positive change. And on the 13th, Mercury is also going to be in Scorpio. This symbolizes really for us a sharp and also biting mind, a strengthened intuition as well. So this is a time really truly where if you have questioned or have been questioning your discernment, you're no longer looking at a situation in that way. Instead, you're looking at it as an opportunity to gain those things, to gain those skills, to gain those attributes within your character. Now, with the Magician in reverse as well as the Sun in reverse, basically Spirit is looking at things, and like I say, this is about, dealing with corruption, mismanagement, indecision as well, or even possibly, especially with this conflict here that looks like it's been surrounding you or that you've been dealing with, an abuse of power. And really beforehand, like kind of how my story was going, this is due to an ineptitude of knowing how to deal with those things, due to not being trained or having the skills or developing the skills of emotional intelligence. That's kind of where you found yourself in this place, is what Spirit is saying. It's basically due to naive. But that's the thing about the school of life, right? We're all learning. You don't know skills that you don't develop. You only develop skills once you want to, once you choose to learn them. But basically, that's kind of how this situation has come about. And Spirit is saying here, basically, there may be failure or loss, or you may be looking at that. However, this weekend is the weekend, especially with Mercury coming into, I can talk, especially with Mercury being in Scorpio on the 13th, which, lucky number, side tangent, just saying. You're no longer looking at it as a failure or loss. You're no longer looking at it as a hindrance of your own progress. Or even looking at it as manifesting failure and like self-blame, or putting yourself in that wounded ego territory. But instead, you're looking at the situation and you're saying, you know what, I did the best that I could. And especially standing in a place with my emotional intelligence, with my centering, with my grounding and connection in my faith and belief in my discernment and in my truth, as well as belief in your boundaries and how you stand for things and what you stand for. You're looking at this without self-blame, or Spirit's encouraging you to do so, and with strengthened intuition, with purposeful thinking, and purposeful intent, in the way of, it's a lesson, and you're grateful for the lesson that you're learning along the way because of it. And like I say here as well, with this, there could also have been some over-enthusiasm. You're taking it, Spirit is encouraging you to take a step back, see things for what they are, use those lessons, so that when you see deceptions and lies, when you see manipulation or deceit, like I did with today, when I challenged it and I saw the reaction or how she reacted, it only confirmed my discernment and knowing, hey, you know what, this may not be the best partnership to enter into as a business situation. This may be a situation where it's theft or deception or lies. And I tell you what, so basically, long short, I'll just say it. It was in regards to a lease. I applied for an application. The application actually asked me for my account login numbers for my bank. I declined to do that. I submitted my application, but then basically, rather than do her due diligence with calling my bank, she asked me to send monthly statements of my bank accounts. And I was like, no, actually, I would prefer that you speak with my bank directly. They're a third-party representative. Their best interest is to protect my best interest in this case, which is my finances. So if you need confirmation to verify my income, they're a reputable source. They're also an accredited national bank and federally insured, so I'm protected. But also, too, if you're having trouble trusting me, which she also accused me of doctoring my proof of funds letter as well, saying I just could get it off the internet or get my bank, my banker's signature off the internet. And I was like, I want you to call them. Like, I want you to look into this. This is a verification. I want you to trust me because that's about building trust. That's about the foundation. I want you to know that you can count on me financially for this commitment. But also, too, most importantly, I want you to get it directly from the bank. I don't want you to sit here and offer me a place based on doing me a favor, because I'm not asking for one. I'm asking for a solid relationship and a solid foundation within this relationship, since we're committing to each other financially. Well, I tell you what, not only, like I say, her reaction was to accuse me of basically falsifying records. I pointed out that asking for my bank login was actually kind of illegal, and I wasn't willing to do that for them. And she did go on to say, yep, you're approved. I'll send you the lease. And this escalated, like I say, to her yelling at me about and telling me about how she was putting aside all of her personal obligations for the day to help me and to focus on approving me, even though she called my bank as the last resort rather than the first. To this point later in the day, and we talked this morning, I still haven't received a copy of the lease, or heard anything more from her. So I will say, like, this really stands out for me as a good test of, like, no, you know what? Actually, I'm learning, and I'm so grateful for my emotional intelligence, where I could sit in this situation and listen to her, and also use my discernment, use my intuition, but use my logic and my rationality of, like, you know what? I have never had a landlord ask me to send full monthly statements of my bank accounts. I have never had a landlord ask me for my bank account login information. So I am just saying, I'm grateful for the rejection, because in this case, it's God's protection, right? It's the divine's protection. Now, with Mercury being in Scorpio, too, on the 13th, as you exit out this weekend, walk into this next week, like I say, it's all about purposeful thinking. It's all about strengthened intuition. And so this situation for me, like I say, really reaffirmed, like, and kind of boosted my confidence in the way of, like, you know what, look how far I've come. Because there was a time when I probably might have challenged her right back and been like, and pointed the finger right back at her, and instead of saying it compassionately in the way of, like, you know, actually that's kind of illegal to do that. Instead, I probably would have tried to accuse her of fraud, you know, and maybe possibly used ugly language, like she did. By all means, before, you know, when I was much younger and I didn't have as much emotional intelligence, I would have been very challenged as well to stand up for myself. I would have been very challenged to try and say, no, I'm not comfortable doing that. And I possibly could have opened myself up to financial exposure. She could have come in and drained all my accounts, and I would have never heard from her again, right? So I did want to also point out, with Mercury and Scorpio in this line of thought, by listening as well, by staying in that rational mind and letting he who talks the loudest talk, especially when it comes to trying to, if they're in a reactionary emotional state, based on her reaction, I automatically knew she was deceptive, or at least the situation was possibly deceptive. But it also, so during Mercury and Scorpio, you may even uncover secrets. And so, like I say, there's power in listening and using that discernment from the information that they give you. Because ultimately, where she was trying to gaslight me, she actually kind of uncovered for me that they basically have tried this before and gotten away with it. And because I wasn't giving her that, her challenge back to me was to get emotional and to get angry about it. No one should ever get angry if you refuse to give. I'm just saying, if someone gets angry and they ask because you ask, or they ask you for your bank login and you decline, just saying. And if that resonates, by all means, let me know your story in the comments below if you've had to unfortunately deal with that, or just put a heart. I could certainly use the support, no pressure, but more importantly, if you can relate with this and hopefully walk away from the situation unscathed like I did, let's celebrate that together. But with the King of Pentacles here, This is about the self-control, right? This is about utilizing that sharp mind, that biting mind that uses rationality, that uses pragmatic thinking and critical thinking to manifest material success, to manifest in your financial management with a focus of security. And with the Page of Cups, this is all about emotional innocence, right? It's about focus. It's about using your intuition, but also, too, being sensitive to your surroundings. Basically, what Spirit is saying in this is, don't let situations like this take away the Page of Cups within you, to take away the innocence in you of, truly, don't let it diminish your creativity. Don't let it diminish your imagination, or don't let it diminish, your intuition or your trust of your intuition. Stay focused on your path, on your dreams, and on the situation at hand. Because at this point, those types of situations that will come in, especially with Pluto moving direct, and especially with Pluto being opposition to Mars from October 11th all the way through November 3rd, you may be challenged with these energies or see or encounter these types of energies. And if you meet them at their level, this will lead to you feeling helpless, right? That's why this is a test. It may lead also to temporary hardships or put you in a place of desperation. What Spirit is saying here is, do not lose focus. Do not lose your inspiration and belief in the self and do not lose your power. Don't give your power away. Instead, remain resilient. Hardships, life can never promise that it's easy, right? We're all blessed in one way or another. The divine never wants negativity or hardship to come to you, but we have free will. And that's through the school of life that we learn those into it, our discernment, to make better choices, to learn from the times that we were maybe taken advantage of or tested with types of energies that would make you rather feel helpless or feel like you're in lack or in poverty, where they're doing you a favor when really they're doing you an injustice. With the Eight of Wands, Spirit is basically saying in this that there is an incoming message. There is good news. You will be unrestricted as long as you stay in your emotional intelligence, stay centered and stay connected. Because at this point, what Spirit is saying is you've got some fast movement, you've got some good news coming in, and it will accelerate. With this, what I also see in it is that, like I say, for those that have been feeling restricted, those restrictions will be lifted here, starting to be lifted. You'll feel that energy basically between the trine of the sun and the moon on the 12th, between Libra and Aquarius in that way, but also too with Mercury being in Scorpio. You're walking focused on your success, focused on improving your health, focused on your well-being and the practical, pragmatic plan that you want to step forward in and walk forward in to bring you towards those goals. And with the help and leg up with Mercury, you've got the sharp mind. You've got intuition and strengthened connection to the divine with your intuition and discernment. You've got purposeful thinking where you're not going to be led astray by these temptations to lower your vibration and lower your energy. And like I say, there may be some secrets that you get to find out. And knowledge is power. It's not about using power against other people. Like I say, Pluto is about the power and control, and also those who wish to control you. But it's holding on to your power through your intuition, through your empathy, through your compassion, but most importantly, through your truth in yourself, in your boundaries, and the transformation and the path that it took for you to get there, the appreciation for the path that it took for you to get there. Now, oh my gosh, okay, this is awesome. So what we've got here is that you will be walking out of this weekend here by handling things with emotional intelligence. You will be walking not only with inspiration, not only with a solid mental health in your grounding and your centering, but also with hope. You're remaining kind-hearted. You're remaining unchanged. You are not giving your power to those that want to deceive you or put you in a vibrational energy of spiritual poverty. Instead, you'll be walking out of this weekend feeling renewed, feeling refilled, as well as too an appreciation of how healed you truly are. And like I say, this is a time too where you will have contentment with staying true to yourself as well as to your spiritual guidance, being led by your spiritual guidance with belief and with conviction. Prosperity is meant for you. There is success here. There is stability. There is peace. And like I said, and to reassurance, things will settle down. Thank goodness, right? No need to open the wine, as I would put it. But it's through the fact that you are an intellectual, and also too, you're not giving your power away. Instead, you're standing in your power. You're using that assertiveness and that quick wit, as well as your ambition, and not being afraid to speak, not being afraid to voice the concerns, voice your boundaries. And really, that's kind of what they're wanting, right? That's all about the bait and switch of gaslighting is, or victim narcissism mentalities is basically the first thing that they'll do if they feel challenged is they'll try and attack you, right? They want you to meet them at their level so that you stay silent. It's all about the bully mentality. And again, that's Pluto, the bully of the zodiac. And really, truly with Pluto, it's all about peeling back the layers, right? To identify who's really in charge and what's really at stake. And that's the big thing with this piece that Spirit is saying here, is through standing in your power, through holding your truth, and also too through recognizing the change, the evolution, the transformation that it took, the journey that it took to gain those skills and gain that wisdom, you will be calling in the correct energies. You're telling the divine, you're telling the energies around you, as well as the relationships or conflict around you, and telling them what your boundaries are in a respectful way. And then also too, reaffirming with them how you'd like to be treated by how you respect and treat them with compassion, but also too, like I say, with a strength of understanding that what's really at stake, and like I say, identifying for all parties at hand who's really in charge. And it's all about being in charge of the self, right? It's not about controlling others, it's about controlling you. When you hold that power, that's where cooperation, that's where harmony comes in. That's where you start seeing the reciprocity from the energy surrounding you. That you're telling the universe and you're telling the divine how you want to be treated, what types of relationships you really value and that you want to be in, that you want to call in and attract. But also too, it's about that compatibility. It's about calling in the compatible souls that and energies that think the same way that you do, that are like-minded with wanting to achieve that type of harmony and mutuality and cooperation. And if that resonates, by all means, like I say, and you want to help support this message, get it out to as many Virgos as we can. Please like, share, subscribe. Also too, like I say, share this message with other Virgos, any Virgo placements, whoever it calls to or it's called to and resonates with. But that way we can get this message out to help as many Virgos as we can, or Virgo placements as we can, so that we can support each other through this temptation and through this test. Now, at the bottom of the deck, we also have the Hanged Man. This is about spiritual growth. And so with Pluto moving direct, like I say, it intensifies and transforms with a focus on peeling back the layers to identify who's really in charge. Don't let other people make decisions for you, right? Don't give your power to others in that way, or back you into a corner, or bend you over a barrel. I know that's one of my favorite sayings. But also too, because you're realizing what's truly at stake, even over financial matters, even over commitments of like a year lease and things like that. It's about holding the power of yourself for yourself. That's what's really at stake, not sacrificing your integrity to meet people at low vibrational levels, but instead seek new perspectives, trust that you're being tested, and know that your spiritual growth Maybe your path even may be unconventional. However, it's about communication, it's about synthesis, and it's about dynamic balance, as well as thoughtful expression through critical thinking. It's about truth and power, right? So if that resonates, like I say, just let me know. No pressure. But what I see in this, absolutely, with the Knight of Cups, is that it will re-inspire you. It will also reinstill in you that you've got some really good people skills right now, especially with Mercury being in Scorpio, with that sharp mind, with that strengthened intuition, but most importantly, the purposeful thinking. And so this is a focus on emotion. It's a focus on compassion, and it's also a focus on inspiration. So, like I say, I hope this message helps. No pressure, but I do see a lot of Libran energy, Scorpionic energy. That makes sense for me, I'm just saying, because we've got Mercury in Scorpio as well as the Sun in Libra at this time. Now, I do also want to go ahead and pull a few spiritual animal totems, see what kind of additional guidance we can get from our animal ancestors here. So, Spirit, what additional guidance do you have for us this weekend, especially with Pluto moving in, or moving direct, and especially when it moves in the orbit of Mars, or in opposition of Mars? Thank you, Spirit. Okay. So, this is beautiful. So what I see is we pulled the raccoon. And so the raccoon is all about being the inventor. What Spirit is saying is decide on what you really want. You have the ingenuity to claim it. Avoid being the trickster, and avoid tricksters, no pressure. And practice integrity. That's about that emotional intelligence, right? Not stooping to low vibrational energy levels. Spirit's also reminding you, you have many roles. You can juggle them well. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling stressed, pulled in multiple directions, remember, you have the ingenuity to claim what you truly want. You have the ingenuity to create what you want. And as you can see, all three of these guys are like entranced by the butterfly. That's about rebirth. All three of these guys are looking at the miracles of life and seeing those and appreciating them and standing in their integrity. And with the penguin, it's all about being authentic. This is beautiful. So reach out to your tribe in times of need. Family will give you strength when you face the storm. You're never alone. Love your uniqueness. You are full of surprises. Break free from others' expectations and just be yourself. And so, like I say, this is about holding your authenticity in your power. Holding your power of what truly makes you you. And also, too, being vulnerable enough and trusting enough to know that you are not alone. Trust your tribe. Your family are here to guide you. They're here to lift you up. They're here to support you. And just like on this channel, we are here to support you. And so if you are feeling like you need a little bit of a pick-me-up, need a hug, by all means, share your story in the comments below. Let us here on the Honey Sea Star Tarot help lift you up in your authenticity so that you can shine bright and not be tempted or be reassured, rather, that you don't need to stoop to lower levels, right? You don't need to give your power away to anyone. In fact, it's the most crucial thing for you to keep. Now, Spirit, give us a few more Give us a few more animal totems to help. Thank you. To help guide us. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. I just had to pull a few others here. So with the swan, it's basically all about grace. We've got a few here, so I apologize. I'll try and make them quick. But either way, I love all of them, so it's worth the time. But it basically is about gliding across the waters of your soul. And it's about bringing your wisdom and light, or asking the divine to bring you wisdom and light in times of confusion. And asking the divine to help transform you, to handle situations with elegance and grace, and inspire you with dignity and the spirit of beauty, so that you recognize when deceptive people are trying to gaslight you, so that you recognize, most importantly, the beauty of your integrity, the beauty of your dignity, and the beauty of your emotional intelligence to walk through those difficult situations with grace and grounding. And if that resonates, by all means, like I say, share a story, put a heart in the comments below. And with the dolphin, it's all about swimming in the happy joy of living. And so if you've been feeling weighed down by stress, this is about using pranayama, basically, is how I would put it, but it's about inhaling confidence and exhaling fear. Calling your power back with each breath in and diving into your wisdom and going with the flow, going with ease rather than fighting an uphill battle. And with the moose, it's all about wisdom. Let your head and your mind reach to the stars, yet keep your feet grounded on the earth. And with Mercury and Scorpio, you will have a leg up astrologically this weekend. What this card is basically also saying is listen to the ancient wisdom of your soul. Your ancestors speak through you. And with the orca whale, this is about adventure. Dare to do things differently. Like I say, I instantly felt in this situation here today of thinking back and remembering there was a time where if someone yelled at me, I would try and yell right back. And then it was the shouting match, right? And it's because I grew up that way. That was what I knew. That was how I was taught how to deal with difficult situations or difficult people. But instead, this is about daring to do things differently and to sing your song, to manifest your dreams. And there's also another thing of action with this. Don't be afraid to travel. Try new situations. Try new areas. This is about attempting the great journey, but attempting it with confidence and loyalty to yourself, and also to recognizing and holding the value of friends and family, recognizing the value that they truly are there for you and for you to treasure. Spirit wants you to know to be brave and recognize that and remember that you are also more powerful than you know, especially if you're feeling challenged. And with the dog, this is several cards now about family and friends. You are not alone. Spirit is reminding you that today, Spirit will love you without condition. Your energy and your enthusiasm are an inspiration. You are light for the world. Choose to be happy and remember that you are protected and you have friends. And you have a higher calling. You have within you all the courage you need. Let go of the past and reclaim your majesty. You will find success and contentment with those by your side. Make noble choices for your life and your tribe. Don't be tempted to let others make them for you. And so let's also take a look at the major arcana here for those that practice music therapy. This is a wonderful, that's the whole deck. That would take forever. It'd be a very long symphony. But music therapy is a wonderful way if you're feeling blocked in any type of chakras, especially with this one. I've gotten a lot about through this of, really people are trying to bully you in order to silence you. This is about, so music therapy is really wonderful with opening up your voice again, with realizing or taking a second chance in the voice that you have in this world, what you truly stand for and what you truly speak for and hold. And so for those that practice music therapy, what we pulled is the G sharp and the A sharp. And so try fiddling around with those. What we've got here as well as the heart chakra. And so some of you could be challenged with the heart, especially dealing with conflict situations. It could hurt you very deeply and put you again into that place where you'll get emotional because you're hurt, or you'll get out of rational thinking and get into a reactional thinking rather than responsive thinking. And so it's good to make sure that you're opening up that heart chakra, especially with positive affirmations, and knowing and trusting that you are actively supported, that you are a vessel for divine love and letting that love in, and also understanding that you are constantly seeing the world through compassion, through forgiveness for yourself, and holding a space of forgiveness for yourself each and every day. We're all human. And so dedicating yourself and living in that gratitude and walking through that gratitude, not that, loss or mistake will hold you back, or that you can't gain anything from it, but instead recognizing, okay, this is how I got into that situation. More importantly, this is what I learned from that situation. And this is how I can walk forward to rebuild, to better myself, and most importantly, to hold my power, to walk forward confidently so that I don't find myself in these types of situations again or going forward, so that I can recognize it before I get too far deep into it, so that I'm not hurt by it or hurt by the people that are meaning to try and bully. And again, it's about identifying who's really in charge and what's really at stake. And when I look at that and when I meditate on that, it's about big effects of the personal, or of your big effects for your situation on a personal level. And it's about holding that power, holding that confidence, so that you can recognize these situations and learn how to avoid them or steer clear of them before you put yourself in a place where you're vulnerable. But also acknowledge that you're human, you're learning, and it's okay to learn, and it's okay to make mistakes because that's part of life. You're only human, and walking through and holding that compassion and forgiveness for yourself is so crucial so that you can let go of it and most importantly, move forward. And then we also, with the hangman, that really represents a connection to our third eye. So if you're feeling any type of chakra blockage with your third eye, positive affirmations, like remembering that you hold a vision for your future without attachment, that you know and trust that you're naturally intuitive. We all are. We just encountered situations. We've become hurt by them, and hurt people hurt, but healed people heal. And that's part of the third eye connection, right? It's about trusting that what you see in both the physical and the inner eye is your discernment, is the discernment that leads you through your intuition. And through your discernment, you're able to question the lens of perceptiveness, or perception, I should say. You're able to question personal bias, and you're able to walk through life in trusting the universe and trusting your connection with the divine, that the divine truly wants the best for you and will guide you through life towards the situations that are truly meant for you. And that this one too, even as painful as it is, it's meant for you as a lesson of learning, not a lesson to break you or tear you down. So like I say, fiddle around with the A sharp and the G sharp. If you feel comfortable, share your story of the transformation that you get with realigning your chakras through music therapy. Personally, I feel like it's a breath of fresh air, and it fills my bucket. And it's so replenishing. But as a reminder too, memory holds water, say that backwards. Water holds memory. And so at this point, especially if you're feeling any type of blocked energies, water is so important to replenish, to detoxify and let go of those negative energies, but also too, as you say and meditate on your personal affirmations, to replenish your trust in yourself and in your hope and in your mental health. Just saying. So I truly hope this message helps. Like I say, if this message resonated with you, please like, share, subscribe. Your support to the channel really means the world, and it's what's made this channel become and grow to what it is and what it will become. Also too, if you are feeling a little challenged with taking back your power, with holding on to your power through discernment and your intuition, check out our store. All of the designs are meant to inspire, to uplift, and also to empower you throughout your day. And so it's another great way to support the channel, especially monetarily speaking. That way I can continue to make these videos and continue to create and put out these messages for all of us Virgos. So either way, thank you guys so much once again for all your love and support. I love you back. I hope this message helps. Take care, and I'll see you in the next reading.